It's time for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It's time for The Game on ESPN 1400. For the next 2 hours, we'll get an in-depth look at local sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula and Algoma region, and hear from the coaches and players involved in the game. We'll also analyze the college and pro sports scene across the region and dive into the biggest national stories. Now, let's get to the game and join your host, Scott Nason.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to The Game on ESPN 1400, also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. As the man said, my name is Scott Nason, broadcasting from our studios of ESPN 1400 on 3 Mile Road, and we are joined right off the hop by our co-host, good friend, and all-around great guy, Dave McCaig, host of the Game Sports Show in Soo, Ontario, from several locations, several different platforms, and came over on Thanksgiving. First of all, Dave, happy Thanksgiving to you and your lovely girlfriend and all our Canadian listeners. Happy Columbus Day to our American listeners. How you doing tonight, sir? I'm
doing great, and I'll give a special shout out to everyone over the Canadian side. Happy Thanksgiving as well. And Scott, thank you very much, and always pleased to make the trip over here.
Well, we love having you on, Dave, and we have a very busy show tonight as we are going, speaking of show, we're going to be talking a lot about a showcase tournament going on at Big Bear Arena starting tomorrow morning. 12 teams total will be involved in this NOJHL showcase, including the team we cover here on ESPN 1400, the Soo Eagles, the Soo Thunderbirds. Basically, Dave, the entire league is going to be playing 12 games in 2 days, all at Big Bear Arena, and we're going to have guests from the Soo Eagles as well as the NOJHL Commissioner Robert Mazzuca to talk all about how this, became a part of Sault Ste. Marie. It's been in the Sudbury area for over the past couple years, but it's here in Sault Ste. Marie, and I'll be broadcasting a majority of the games online for Hockey TV. I'm excited about it.
Definitely. You know what? I think it just makes sense that you have it on both in Soo, Michigan, but it's connected with Soo, Ontario. Obviously, it's within reasonable traveling distance with Sudbury and other teams around the surrounding areas. So it just makes complete sense. And when you're playing at the Big Bear, that is a classic rink. I can remember the times when I was younger playing. They had the twin pads going.
Sure.
I think actually there's 3 pads over there. Right, yeah, there'd be 3 pads on that.
Pads, you mean rinks?
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry,
the lingo
Canadian
threw me off
lingo,
there for
sorry.
a second. I was thinking bowling pads, like 3 pads. Actually, two rinks.
2 rinks, so there is 2, sorry.
Yep.
So
there's a NHL-sized rink, which will host 8 of the 12 games. That's where I'll be doing the games. And then the Olympic rink, where the high school plays, that'll have 4 games.
That's awesome. And it just makes sense.
I learned something new tonight.
That's Canadian lingo.
Am I going to start saying a boot
might be
now?
some Letterkenny lingo, actually. But, that's a good opportunity to have it there. And obviously, the Polar's a great rink here in Soo, Michigan. And obviously, the John Rhodes, the GFL over in Soo, Ontario. But the Big Bear, the big ice, the multiple ice pads, be able to go at once. It is bigger than the John Rhodes. Obviously, the Big Bear, so it just makes sense to have that good, fast hockey pace that junior hockey is out on the Big Bear. So it's exciting to see these teams come on down to come and check out the community of SSM, Michigan, and Ontario.
Absolutely. Dave, we got a lot of local sports to cover in a short period of time, so let's get to it right now, starting with high school football. Thursday night, Engadine punched their ticket into the MHSAA football playoffs with a 48-28 win over defending state champion Rapid River. Engadine improves to 6-1, one of 2 teams that are officially in the playoffs in the EUP. In a game you heard on at 12:30 WSOO with Dave Watts, and boy, it was a quagmire. It was a marsh. It was a monsoon. It was everything.
Quagmire.
You
got me thinking Family Guy there.
I looked that up. I don't know. That's not in my regular vocabulary, Dave, but it was a rainy night at Van Sitters Field, homecoming. The few fans that were there saw a good Soo High performance. They defeat Rogers City by the score of 36-0. So this Blue Devils now 5-2 on the season. They need 1 win of their last 2 to officially punch their ticket. And they'll travel to Ludington this Saturday afternoon, which is basically a play-in game. Ludington's also 5-2. And you can hear that game on our sister station, 12:30 WSOO, with Dave Watson around 4 o'clock on Saturday. St. Ignace kept their playoff hopes alive, improving to 4-3 on the season as they defeat Indian River Inland Lakes by the score of 22-14. St. Ignace will be at Rogers City on Friday. And a game you heard on Oldies 93 with Matt Pocket in our EUP Game of the Week. The Cedar Cedarville Trojans. They took a big step towards the postseason as they defeated Rudyard by the score of 22-8. So the Trojans, they're going to need to win their last 2 games to qualify for the postseason tournament. They'll host Superior Central on Friday. While Rudyard, they're really the one team in the EUP that needs 2 wins and help. They're 3-4 right now. They're going to need to win their last 2 games, then get a lot of help. They're going to host Engadine on Friday, which is our next EUP game of the week over on Oldies 93 with Matt Pocket. We mentioned Pickford winning last week. Well, they won again this week and punched their ticket into the playoffs as they defeated Gaylord St. Mary's, the Snowbirds. Dave, you like that nickname? Love the nicknames.
I like the I think it was the Trojans was my favorite one.
But that's Cedarville. Yep.
Okay, now you
like the Snowbirds?
Whoever, I do like that name. If anyone who makes these names, if there's one person or a multiple party, I want them to make the trek over to Soo, Ontario, come sit in our city council and get some names out there to give us some different names over in Canada, because these are some killer names over in the States.
Well, the Snowbirds were defeated by the Panthers by the score of 46-23. So Pickford officially in the playoffs at 6-1. They'll host Rapid River on Friday. Brimley gets a big win on the road Saturday afternoon at Superior Central by the score of 48-36. So the Bays 5-2 on the season. They need 1 win of their final 2 games. They're going to host Newberry on Thursday and then have Pickford at home. So Brimley's going to have to win that game Thursday. They're going to make the playoffs officially. And Newberry, well, they took it on the chin at Powers North Central as they were defeated by the score of 51-0, as Newberry now 4-3 on the season. Dave, we have some Soo, Ontario football action from this past weekend. Cora and Superior Heights, they were in action against each other. Tell us about what's going on your side of the pond.
We had Cora, obviously the senior team has obviously been known as a dynamite team over in Soo, Ontario for a number of years now, coached by Tom Ennett. They improved to 4-0 this past weekend after winning 40-7 over Superior Heights. And the Cora Colts are fortunate enough that they did finish first this season, so they get an automatic advance over to the finals, and they get to await the winner of Superior Heights and, of course, St. Mary's. And when I was talking to Tom Ennett actually through text message today when we were trying to organize actually getting him on the show in Soo, Ontario again, he was just saying how overall inside of the core football, the core and just the team is everything clicks there. Everything that he is putting forward, everything that Matt Primo is putting forward, Dustin Grondin, everyone else on the coaching staff, everyone's just buying in, and that is where the success is stemming from, right? And Cora has definitely continued its success for sure, improving to 4-0 as I mentioned. The Steelhawks finished the season 0-4, and they return to action to be October the 18th, which is this Friday. They play a semifinal game against St. Mary's, as I mentioned, who finished the year 2-2, and as I mentioned, the winner will be playing against Cora. And then obviously you have St. Mary's topped White Pines this past weekend. White Pines, they have a team in junior football. They weren't able to field a team in senior football this year. And at the end of the day, it's good to see White Pines at least have a team in the junior action. Obviously, it was a season that they don't want to remember at all. You know, it was a kind of hardest competition against St. Mary's, Cora, and the Steelhawks. The Steelhawks, obviously, who finished on the top of that side. You're going to have the Knights right now that had a very strong game, winning that game over there by the score of 31-3. And White Pines finished the season with winless, and St. Mary's finished the year 2-4. So all in all, the junior football ranks, you had Cora, who were actually favorites on that side, on the junior side of the football. But the Steelhawks this year came up and were really aggressive. They not that they surprised anybody because they're a really good football team, but everyone thought Cora. Everyone has that pinpoint. Like when I went to high school, everyone thought Mary's right at the time. But right now, the Steelhawks and junior football program is looking solid, which is very exciting for the whole school in general when it leads into the senior program. And Cora and St. Mary's will be playing each other. And then you have Pines and the Steelhawks playing against each other, moving on to who potentially will be playing against each other in the finals.
Some other high school sports from this past week in high school cross country. Austin Plotkin made it 3 for 3 in Straits Area Conference races from Brimley, and Haley Knowles also 3 for 3 for the Soo High Blue Devils in cross country, as their championships, I believe, are this weekend west of here. Soo High Soccer last Monday, they earned a 6-2 win on the road at Manistee. High school basketball in Soo, Ontario on Tuesday night. Girls high school basketball, it was Superior Heights over Cora by the score of 28-17. And in the other game, St. Mary's beat White Pines by the score of 47-25. Interesting who had 27 points in that one, Dave. Mercedes Mazzuca. I have no idea if that's related to our next guest, Commissioner Robert Mazzuca. We'll have to ask him about that one.
There's a lot of actually good names that I read in the world of sports, especially with Mittens,
the
backup about the Lake State.
Oh, he's the starter this year.
The story, the starter with Lake State, probably one of the best last names that I've seen. But Mazzuca, there's a lot of everything that ends in a vowel over in Soo, Ontario is either an O or an A.
You're right.
over there. And at the end of the day, that's definitely a good performance. So I like to say the old cliche that if you have a fantasy team over in Soo, Ontario, hopefully you had them in your fantasy lineup that day.
Assuming Rogers doesn't throw 6 touchdowns tonight, Dave, perfect 3 for 3. It's fantasy football, this guy.
3-2 overall record. My 2 losses. I had 162 points and 182 points, and I still lost. I need Jimmy Graham to get me 3 points tonight. That is it to win this week.
That's not too much, but sometimes it can be tough, too.
Jimmy Graham.
High school volleyball from this past week, Soo High won a dual match against Sheboygan and Onaway on Wednesday. On Tuesday, Rudyard shuts out Engadine by a 3-0 count. Also on Tuesday, it was Pickford over Brimley by a 3-0 count. On Thursday, Rudyard swept past Cedarville 3-0 in the 10th annual Volley for a Cure match. They do a great job in Rudyard. This is the 10th year, $4,500 raised in the fight against cancer. They've raised over $30,000 in the 10 years in Rudyard. Credit to the administration, Coach Ellen Perry, and such. It's a great event. A lot of schools do it. Rudyard does it very well. And the donations or the funds raised go to the Relay for Life in the EUP. Also on Thursday, it was Pickford over Newberry by a 3-0 count. Dave, one more note before we go to break and get to our guests who have arrived tonight. We're going to be holding a burger bash for our compatriot and good friend, Johnny Bell. Now, Johnny was the voice of many things here at Sovereign Communications, including the news. Over the past few years, he did the Soo Eagles games. He goes back to the Northern Michigan Black Bears, goes back to the Sioux Indians, and we miss Johnny. He's having some health issues, and so we're putting together a burger bash on Monday, October 28th. That's in 2 weeks' time from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Elks Lodge in Sault Ste. Michigan. Over the past year, John, he's had surgeries due to his ongoing health struggles. He hasn't been able to return home. He really wants to come home, and so we're trying to help him out to get some proceeds that will go towards his medical expenses and renovations to his home to allow for wheelchair accessibility. There's going to be a silent auction. Burger, sides, and dessert will be $10 for adults, $5 for those 12 and under. They are accepting takeouts as well. Tickets can be purchased at the door at the Elks on that date or in advance right here at Sovereign Communications, here in our studios at the corner of M129 and 3 Mile Road between Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. And we're also accepting any silent auction or monetary donations here at the studio. So once again, a burger bash for our good friend Johnny Michael Bell. Monday, October 28th, 4 to 7 at the Elks Lodge. And of course, he's somebody, Dave, that's no stranger to anybody that's listened to or followed sports in our area.
Definitely. And you know what? I'll go right off and echo you here, Scotty. I know in Soo, Ontario, it'd be good to see some individuals come out and support that from our side of the border as well. We are followers here of the Sovereign Communications platforms, if you will, throughout ESPN 1400, Rock 101, etc. So there's lots of different platforms that you follow, and this was obviously a voice that was well known. And even going to a personal side with the Canada side, we don't have, the states don't have the same kind of luxuries when it comes to healthcare that the Canadians get to have in terms of those medical expenses, etc. So I know in Canada we do have those luxuries. We have a lot to give over in Soo, Ontario, especially from a business perspective and even a citizen-based perspective. So don't be shy. Come on over on Monday between 4 and 7. Support a cause that is well-deserved for a guy who is wouldn't ask for much as far as I get to know with them, and we can certainly help over in Soo, Ontario too. So I'd like to see Soo, Ontario come help out here in Soo, Michigan with that cause.
Thanks, Dave. We're going to go to our first break here on the game. We come back, we're going to talk NOJHL Showcase, which starts tomorrow at the Big Bear Arena. 12 games in 2 days featuring all 12 teams in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. We'll be discussing that with Soo Eagles General Manager Bruno Bragagnolo and the Commissioner of the NOJHL, Robert Mazzuca. That's coming up next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
Looking for the lowest prices and the best deals on quality used cars, trucks, or SUVs? Look no further than Rodenroth Motors. We have the largest selection of quality pre-owned certified vehicles ever, all priced below book, and all come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. It's our way of standing behind what we sell and guaranteeing you that you'll get the highest quality pre-owned vehicle only at Rodenroth Motors. Stop in and check out our largest selection ever, with prices starting at $49.95. I'm sure we'll have something for you. Don't forget to look for the hang tag specials. These units are clearly priced at or near dealer cost. Just another way we can save you even more money. Come see why all roads lead to Rodenroth Motors for Chevy, Buick, and GMC, the #1 volume dealer in the Eastern UP, at the corner of 3 Mile and Mackinac Trail in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. Chevy, find new roads.
Hello, my name is Dana Mansfield, and I'm the mastectomy fitter at Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. American Breast Care has new breast form designs, which we now carry. Not only are all of ABC's breast forms made in the USA, but ABC is also dedicated to helping women lead fuller lives after breast cancer surgery.
Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies is a part of your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy with a caring, compassionate mastectomy fitter dedicated to helping you celebrate life. ABC offers a full line of breast forms and bras, ensuring you receive the perfect style and fit for you. For more information about American Breast Care products, call Dana at 906-632-1923 or stop in at Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies at the corner of Ashman and Spruce Street, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies, where your health is our business. ACHC accredited. And remember Armstrong Pharmacy for your prescription medications. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
When your car breaks down, it's always a hassle. It seems you're always late for a meeting, or it's at night, or in the middle of nowhere. Then, to add insult to injury, you're stuck with a bill for waking up some poor towing company employee to tow you and your ride back to a repair shop. Cha-ching! Dean Garlinghouse and Farm Bureau Insurance can't keep your car from breaking down, but they can take some of the sting out of the whole thing. With roadside emergency service, that's the best in the business. Farm Bureau's signature service says, you need a tow? Lock yourself out of your car? Run out of gas? Need help changing a tire? Call the wrecker, sign the invoice, and Farm Bureau picks up the tab. Up to $300 per occurrence. Now, don't expect Dean to come out and do it. He's a whiz with coverage, but he's kind of clumsy with a wrench. Talk with Dean and the folks at Farm Bureau Insurance today at the corner of 8th and Ashman in the Soo. Or give Dean a call at 635-7250 from Michigan's Insurance Company, insuring Michigan's autos, homes, farms, and businesses. Dean Garlinghouse at Farm Bureau Insurance.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400, also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason and Dave McCaig here in our ESPN 1400 studios, continuing the local sports talk with our next guest and soon-to-be guests, as we have the commissioner of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League, Robert Mazzuca, joining us right now in studio. And Commissioner, first of all, thanks for coming on the game and welcome to Sault Ste. Marie.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It's a pleasure.
Well, Robert, we are just a few hours away from the NOJHL showcase here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan at the Big Bear Arena, as we mentioned, 12 games in 2 days starting tomorrow at 11. All 12 teams in the league will be facing off against each other, East versus West, for 2 days. And the first question I have is, why the move to the Soo? I know there were several reasons that you wanted to come here and try out the showcase tournament, which has been in the greater Sudbury area the last couple of years. Just walk us through how this all came about for Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Well, we have a board, our board decides the direction where we're headed, and we had a board meeting in June, and we had several discussions, and we just wanted to try a different venue, and the best venue we felt, the board felt, was coming to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
And joined also by Soo Eagles general manager Bruno Bragagnolo. And Bruno, this was a big coup, so to speak. Not a coup, that's the wrong word, but a big get for not just the Soo Eagles and the league, but the community of Sault Ste. Marie, because you have a dozen teams in town that are, spending money, staying at hotels, going to restaurants. It's a big economic boom for this area.
Yeah, I think it definitely is going to help. I mean, and you got to remember there's going to be a lot of parents and relatives coming to watch. And yeah, I think it's a good thing for the Soo. So hopefully it works out and successful, and we could keep doing it here.
Commissioner Mazzuca, how did this showcase all come about as far as from a league perspective? I think it's been going on for at least 3 or 4 years. What was the reasoning to do this and to make these games not just exhibition games, but count towards the standings?
Well, we wanted to provide a venue for the players to showcase their abilities on the ice, and for the league to showcase the kind of players that we have within each respective team. And we didn't have a showcase in the board again. And it's wisdom decided 4 years ago we're going to start providing a showcase. So that's how we ended up with Sudbury for 3 years. And it's been fantastic. Where are you going to go for $10 and enjoy 6 hockey games in one day and see the kind of talent that you're going to see in the next 2 days here in the Soo?
Okay, speaking of the talent, boys, they at the showcase is a big thing where players get to come out and showcase their talents, literally speaking. So what do you think the showcase provides to these players of the NOJHL, which in my opinion has been a growing league, not only the last couple of years, a handful of years plus. So both of you, what do you think the showcase does for these players and the recognition?
I think you're going to have, you're going to have schools here. You're going to have NCAA schools. You're going to have OHL hockey teams here, CHL, youth sports. So it's the venue for them to showcase what they can do on the ice and how good they are. And, because a lot of them go on to the next level of hockey. So this is one step to get to the next level, and this is what we provide for them.
And Bruno, you're always preaching with your team, get your players to the next level, and the Soo Eagles have done that very well. And this is just another opportunity to showcase these players, not just from your team, but as a league to a different audience. Lots of scouts expected for this. Do you have any idea on the majority of the scouts where they may be coming from, different leagues?
Well, I mean, I think most of them is the teams from Wisconsin and Minnesota they've been scouting our league pretty heavily for the last, several years. And even now, there's a couple of new teams trying in Indiana, Adrian College down in Lower Michigan. They've all watched this league. I mean, I'm going to go back to last year's Division III championship team.
Yeah.
Stevens Point. Mm-hmm. They have 6 boys directly from the NOJHL that played in the NOJHL, went right to their program. So, I mean, it's, D3 schools, they really like our league. I think one of the things by moving it here to Soo, we're trying to get the D1s to look at this league a little more, because I've been doing this a long time. Rob has. There's a lot of players that can play D1 in our league. They just have to get noticed. So hopefully they will by having this showcase.
NOJHL Commissioner Robert Mazzuca and Soo Eagles General Manager Bruno Bragagnolo joining us on the game. Commissioner, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, how long have you been commissioner of this league? It's been a few years, has it not?
Bruno says too long. You know what, Bruno, I was going to agree. 9 years.
9 years. And I thought it was around that number. I've been involved with the league in 10 years. And, watching this league closely for 10 years, the thing that I've noticed more than anything is just the professionalism, I think, in the league as a whole. No offense to when Dave played, but now I think it's a more professional environment out there. The teams come in, you see them, you dressed up, they come in. And I just think it's just a more professional league. Is that something that you strive for as a commissioner, to have kind of a more professional attitude to take those players to the next level?
It's really comes from the board that you try to impose certain minimum standards, and I get my orders and my marching orders from the board.
Sure.
So we have discussions in board meetings, and we come up with ideas and plans and such. And we one thing that and Bruno will attest to this, is I make people accountable for what they do on and off the ice. So we have rules, regulations, and standards, and we just try to maintain them and try to increase them each and every year.
And Bruno, looking at the Eagles right now, so you sit 5-5 and 500. And the other thing I've noticed about this league is the parity. I mean, how many 1-goal games have the Soo Eagles already had this year? And it's really a case where anybody can beat anyone on a given night. And it's something we'll probably see over the next couple days at the Big Bear.
Yeah, and what I've noticed that, especially in the last 3 years, it's really become more noticeable, the parity in the league. I think that has to do with a lot of things. I mean, Robert, like you said, he holds everybody accountable. He holds everybody to high standards. I mean, every year you're going to have 1 or 2 teams that may not, be quite as good as what we'd like to be, but they'll beat you if you don't come to play. So, I think it's a great thing for the league. The other thing I think that's helped the league a lot since I've been here, what I've seen, is that the OHL teams send a lot of their draft picks to this league. If they're doing that, that means they have faith in this league and they know that it's a good league for development. And I think that's helped the league a lot as far as the speed and the skill level. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things happening here.
Yeah, this year has been the number one year of the number of major junior draftees in our league is this year. Yeah.
Is it safe to say that overall the league has improved tenfold, not only in the past couple of years, but even the past year?
I'd say it's improved each and every year. I think you go back from when I started, we had 7 teams. Now you got 12 teams I think 11 full-time coaches, where before it was a part-time thing. So the commitment from the owners and the communities is there to if I'm a community and Bruno's got the Eagles, I want to be just as good as them. So what do I need to do? And I think it pushes everybody from within the group competitively to get to that next level. So that's important.
Looking at the games that start tomorrow, gentlemen, again, all games at the Big Bear Arena. There'll be two rinks, I should say, that will be hosting games starting at 11 a.m. on Tuesday at the NHL rink. Timmins will take on Rayside Balfour. The Eagles will play tomorrow afternoon on the Olympic ice at 1. There'll be 6 full games. And Commissioner Mazzuca, you mentioned $10 a ticket. What are the tickets? How do those work as far as people that want to see one of the games? Do they get a ticket for all the games? Do you have the logistics worked out?
One ticket, like it's $10 for adults, $7
for seniors.
Seniors.
Okay.
5 for students. And
that's the whole day.
That's the whole day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's $1.50 a game, really.
That's pretty good. Yeah, exactly. And so there'll be 2 sets of games. And from a commissioner's perspective, what are some of the things that you're looking at as far as how the daily goes, as far as the scouts and stuff? Are you talking to them at all as a commissioner? What's your role, I guess, in the next couple days?
I hope everything goes smoothly. Make sure everything goes smoothly. I hope and wish for close, hard-fought games because, it's more intense. And normally at this particular time of the year at the showcase, it is. But no, I just float around, make sure everybody's happy and well-fed and looked after and answer any questions from parents, agents, and schools.
You can catch all the games on Hockey TV. I'll be doing the NHL rink games, 8 of them. Hopefully my voice holds up for those 8 games. And Bruno, as far as the Soo Eagles going into this, you have the long road trip up north, getting that big win in Cochrane on Saturday, and you come right back with a couple games. Then you have a couple more this weekend. How's the team looking right now?
I think we're coming along. I mean, we're not quite where we want to be, obviously, but we brought in a couple of new players I think are going to help us on the offensive side. We need a little more offense to our program. I'm happy with our goaltending, and defense I think is pretty good. But we're just looking to improve our offense a little bit. But every game is competitive, no matter who you play, like you mentioned earlier. So hopefully we could just start moving above the 500 level now.
When you're looking to improve, does it depend on a trade, or are you looking at someone who's available maybe as a free agent? What is the first priority for you as an organization? Or is it just when you find your guy, you want him?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I don't believe in doing trades that much because I think we're probably in a little – I know a lot of people in the North American League. So I look for mostly players that are getting released from North American League teams. We will go on the wire and look at players now and then, or somebody from the CJHL may call us and ask if we're interested in an American kid. And maybe we will, maybe we won't. But, and right now we're just looking – I look for players that's going to be – at this time, I want impact players, that are going to make a difference. So they're not easy to find, though, but we keep looking, and some pop up, some don't. And every kid you take is a gamble anyway. You never know what you're going to get. So, you just take it day by day and just try to improve it. But, that's basically all how it works out for us anyway.
Soo Eagles General Manager Bruno Bragagnolo and NOJHL Commissioner Robert Mazzuca joining us on the game. Commissioner, any final thoughts before we let you go about the tournament and just the league as a whole?
I just want to say, I welcome everybody to come down tomorrow and Wednesday, catch the excitement, catch the players, and you're going to see some unbelievable hockey for the next 2 days.
Well, gentlemen, I am camping there for the next 2 days. I look forward to seeing both of you doing the games on Hockey TV. And Bruno, any final thoughts before we let you go?
I just want to thank, people all the sponsors and Elks Club Antlers and Subway and Pizza Hut and all the little businesses in town that's helped out here, and the Kuwait and Casino, who's made this thing possible.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. It's been great cooperation from the Visitors Bureau. I was talking to her the other day, and everybody.
Linda Holt. Oh, yeah.
Just been phenomenal, and everybody that I've dealt with has just been super.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the game, and we'll see you at the Big Bear Arena over the next couple days.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll rejoin Dave McCaig. We'll rejoin us, I should say, and we'll talk more hockey and local sports. That's coming up next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
O'Connor's Chrysler Dodge Truck and Jeep in Pickford is your full-service dealership, servicing Pickford and the surrounding areas with pride for more than 50 years. O'Connor's top-notch body shop includes a state-of-the-art frame straightener. O'Connor's is also a proud supporter of community events. Its sales team has the experience to know which model is right for each customer. And with financing available to back your purchase, you can drive away today in your dream vehicle. Local people, local pride. Stop in today on M129 at O'Connor.
Well, it's now officially fall, and if you'd like to kill two birds with one stone... Wait, that was just an expression. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can make some extra money by cleaning up around your home, garage, and yard. Gather your scrap metal and bring it to Reed Metals. Reed Metals pays $50 for a full, large General Motors catalytic converter and $6 per average car battery and $12 per semi-battery. Bring in scrap vehicles or any other recyclable metals, and they'll print you a check. Reed Metals, the honest one-stop metal recycling business. Visit reedmetals.com or call 906-632-0018. Reed Metals, 13 miles south of the Soo on Mackinac Trail. Reed Metals is only minutes away from helping you make money before the summer ends. No birds were harmed during this production, nor were any actual stones thrown.
Paul Thompson here with Gaylor Thompson Sales and Service, just off I-75 in Rudyard, inviting you to stop in and see the largest selection of equipment in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. To complement our full line of Mahindra tractors, we have trailers including goosenecks, dumps, cargos, car haulers, and utility trailers. We also have a full line of lawn and garden equipment with Cub Cadet and X-Mark. Over 50 mowers to choose from, a full line of parts, and we service what we sell. Looking for an outdoor wood or pellet furnace or parts? We stock water pumps, exchangers, PEX supplies, and more. Also, check out our full line of Boss and Fisher snow and ice equipment. Here at Gaylor Thompson and Rudyard, we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to noon for your convenience. Just off I-75 in Rudyard, 30 minutes from the bridge. If you need it, we have it. Give us a call at 906-478-3026. Hope to see you here.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400. Also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason rejoined by Dave McCaig here for the second half of Hour 1, the full 2-hour show, local, regional, and national sports covered. And we're continuing our talk about the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. And Dave, want to thank again NOJHL Commissioner Robert Mazzuca and Soo Eagles General Manager Bruno Bragagnolo for joining us. I'll tell you what, I would not want to be in trouble and have those two in the office when I got in trouble. Those are two serious gentlemen. And boy, you talk about discipline. I'm a little nervous right now.
Very disciplined. Now, Rob runs a good, tight ship there. And I can tell you, thank God I never got into any discipline when I played. I'm actually kind of happy he didn't bring up anything when I played, so I didn't have to hear any little.
He's got a lot to attend to.
Definitely he does. But you know what? He definitely runs a very tight and serious ship there. And he's doing a great job. The NOJHL has grown. Franchises have joined the league. And overall, the league has grown. And as a commissioner, that's what you want to see. You want to see your talent not only get it to the next level, but you want to see your teams thrive and just the overall league ascend in the right direction.
Let's talk more NOJHL from this past weekend, Dave. The Soo Eagles, as I mentioned to Bruno, on the road up north, going 1-2. They lost their first game to Hearst on Thursday by the score of 3-1. They would lose another 1-goal game to Timmins on Friday by the score of 4-3. And then a nice way to end the trip to get back to 500 on Saturday, as Dominic Skrella had 2 goals and 2 assists to lead the Soo Eagles to a 6-1 victory over the Cochrane Crunch. So right now the Eagles 5-5-1 at 500. We'll talk about their games as far as who they play at the showcase coming up here after we talk about the Soo Thunderbirds, Dave, a team right now that's still struggling a bit, going 1-2. They did break that losing streak against Blind River, winning 1, but losing to the Beavers in overtime, and then losing for the first time ever to Espanola on Saturday. T-Birds right now come into this NLJHL showcase, a team that's still kind of, I think, struggling to find their identity right now.
No, they're 4-7-1-2, Scott, and I don't think anyone has been able to say that I can remember about the Soo Thunderbirds in recent memory. Now, obviously over in Soo, Ontario, on our Canadian side of the show, we work closely with the Thunderbirds and the Trevor Zachary being the general manager there, and obviously affiliated with a lot of stuff, others connected to the show as well. And I've had multiple conversations with Trevor being in business with him. And Trevor has told me that, obviously the old cliche with you have injuries and you have suspensions to battle through, but good teams find ways to win. And that's what the main topic that we were discussing. The Thunderbirds are certainly going through some struggles. And overall, this is a team that doesn't normally struggle. They're not known to be struggling, and they got the right coaching staff and the right players at the helm. I promise you that. They got a good team. They got a hardworking, fast-paced team. They made some in-season moves already in an attempt to improve the roster, and they're still going to continue to do so. That I can promise you. They're going to be aggressive in terms of trying to improve this team and also try to get back to their winning ways. It's still early in the year, though. I don't like the old motion where people are saying hit the panic button. They're 4-7. Look, the St. Louis Blues were in last year in January and won the Stanley Cup. Yes, that's the National Hockey League. This is the NOJHL. But all that matters is good teams find ways to win and battle back. And the Thunderbirds do have those guys on the ice and as a management staff. I'm confident they'll turn around, but this is definitely some different ice shifting that we're seeing here with the Thunderbirds.
So let's talk about the NOJHL showcase again, going on at Big Bear Arena starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. 6 games, $10 gets you in as an adult for 6 games. That's fantastic. What a deal they're at.
Definitely. It's like Robert's just saying, it's $1.50 a game essentially exactly. After you pay for the pass.
So the games will start on the NHL rink. I'll be doing the NHL rink games for Hockey TV, starting with Timmins against Rayside Bell, for 2 very good teams to start this season. Now, we won't have the Soo Eagles game on ESPN tomorrow because I'll be at the NHL rink, and the Eagles are playing on the Olympic rink at 1 o'clock against French River. Hearst will take on Espanola at 1:30 on the NHL rink. So there's going to be quite a few hours where there'll be 2 games going on simultaneously. At 3:30, another big matchup, Powassan against Blind River. That one on the Olympic ice. Kirkland Lake will take on the Soo Thunderbirds at 4 on the NHL rink. And then the nightcap, 6:30 on the NHL rink, Cochrane will take on Elliott Lake. Then on Wednesday, we're looking to put the Soo Eagles game on the radio on Wednesday. Again, we have to test some things out, being it's the NHL arena. We're not quite equipped to do radio broadcasts there. We're going to work on that tomorrow to see if we can get that game on the air. Otherwise, it'll be on Hockey TV as the Soo Eagles will take on the Hearst Lumberjacks at 11 o'clock on the NHL rink. 1 o'clock on the Olympic rink, Rayside Belfour will take on Kirkland Lake. 1:30 on the NHL rink, Espanola takes on Powassan. 3:30 on the Olympic rink, Elliott Lake against Timmins. 4 o'clock on the NHL rink, Blind River against French River. And then to close out the showcase on Wednesday night, NHL rink, 6:30, the Soo Thunderbirds against the Cochrane Crunch. And this weekend, both teams will have games as well. The Eagles will be at home against Cochrane. The Crunch at 7 o'clock at Puller Stadium. Now, Matt Pockett's going to be filling in for me that night here on ESPN 1400. He'll have the call around 6:45. And then the Eagles will play Sunday afternoon against Blind River, while the T-Birds, they're going to host the Crunch on Friday. Venue change on that one. They're going to be playing that one at the Pee Wee Arena. Yep. And then they'll be at Rayside Belfour on Sunday. So, boy, the season and games, there's a bunch of them coming up this week, Dave. A big week for the NOJHL.
That is. And when you mentioned the Pee Wee, that is awesome to see. That is the old stopping grounds for a lot of the kids that are playing it, just for Sault Ste. Marie fans in general. And people are asking me, Dave, how are the Thunderbirds going to be able to skate on that small of an ice? And I'm going to use the example of the Mayor's Cup Men's League. There's former pro hockey players that play in that, former NHLers, former OHLers, former junior guys like myself that play in that rink, and we make it work and make it a fast-paced game. And if men at that age, if not played at higher levels, if they can handle playing out there, the NOJHL Thunderbirds can as well. Okay, this is good hockey. It's faster hockey. Kids are in way better shape than what the men's are. It's going to be exciting. And the Pee Wee's a great venue. You got the upstairs venue to have a good option to watch in the glass, get some beverages and some food. And the seating's awesome. It's almost like the seating at the Rankin, just a little bit smaller. Obviously, the Rankin has higher seating where the Sioux College Cougars play as their home rink. But overall, the Pee Wee, I love that. But inside the NOJHL, lots of games, lots of excitement, lots of fans to really get to see how their players are going to do, because a lot of the players are very excited to play in the showcase. They have a scout opportunity like Robert attested to.
Sure.
And that big game between Powassan and Blind River, that's definitely marked on my calendar to be observing, because Obviously, it's a soft spot for Blind River myself, obviously, but in terms of just the Blind River turning around this year and having such a good start to their season, along with Rayside and obviously Powassan Lee in the other division. So this is an NOJHL's very exciting times. And I think scouts, those of you who are tuning in, you should make sure that you check out all the teams. Every team has a lot of talent and a lot of action to go to different venues and check out different sporting venues in Soo, Ontario.
Rankings
and Michigan.
Yes, rankings came out in the Canadian Junior Hockey League today. Powassan, the 5th ranked team in the country of Canada. Timmins 8, Blind River 19. And I have to not chuckle, but it amazes me. The Brooks Bandits right now, of course, they play in the Alberta League. Yep. They've won 44 straight regular season games. Their last loss, November 27th, 2018. That's incredible.
It's almost like the Soviet Union team in the early 70s,
very good,
the 80s, where they didn't lose, but you know what?
They did the U.S.
They did the
1980s,
US,
sir.
But the big thing is, I think when teams are not losing, I'm always a fan of a team that does lose a bit because you learn that side of the game. But hey, all the power to you. If you're just winning games, they're definitely deserving to be top spot.
Soo Greyhounds in action this afternoon in a game you heard on Rock 101 with Jerry Liscombe Jr. after going 1-1 this weekend. On their road trip, they go 1-2 overall as they fall to the Battalion out of North Bay by the score of 7-5. The Hounds down in that game 2-0, come back to tie it. They go down 4-3 after 2, come back, take the lead. Alex Johnson's goal in the third period, but they give up 2 goals and an empty netter to fall 7-5 to North Bay. So the Hounds right now, Dave, with a 5-4 record. So since that 4-0 start, 1-4 in their last 5 games. They'll be at home coming up this week. They'll take on Rayside Balfour. They'll take on the Sudbury Wolves on Wednesday at the Memorial Gardens. They'll also be at home to Barrie on Saturday and North Bay Sunday afternoon. Dave, Hounds right now 5-4, giving up a lot of goals though. What's your thoughts?
Everyone's looking at kind of maybe the goaltending side of things. That's where everyone's easily going to point fingers to. You have a lot of individuals pointing the fingers to the defensive core, or maybe even the offense if they're big enough. Look, the Hounds need improvement, just like I think every team needs improvement in the NOJHL in a certain area. Not every team's perfect. You don't have a perfect team in any stretch of the imagination. Every team has a little bit of a downfall, in particular with certain positions. And the Hounds' obvious weakness right now, I find, is a goaltending, is a point that needs to be pointed to, and defense. I'll tell you right now, the way Barrett Hayton played his first 2 games with the Arizona Coyotes, especially making a nice pass, I don't think Barrett's going to be coming back this year, okay, after he played. If he comes back...
he looked good, too.
Yeah, he looked very good. He looked fit. So if he comes back, he might be the best player in Canada if he comes back anyway. So either way, Hounds can't depend on that. Okay, they traded Ryan Roth to Sarnia, able to get some youth, some chances in the lineup. Okay, when you give that chance to the youth, the Hounds are actually deep up front. Yes, they need to get a little tougher. If I'm Raftis, you look at this team, you're still above 500, you had a great start. You're definitely a playoff team. And I really think the areas of improvement, I think you got to try to get Malik over here somehow in net. That is, you draft them in the import draft. I see a lot of Robin Leonard and Malik who can have that same kind of impact. On defense, there's some good second, third pairing defense that you can acquire out there for affordable draft picks that you won't franchise cripple you. And then forwards, you're waiting for one prize to potentially come back in Barrett Hayton. But if he doesn't, you may have to look at getting another second-line player. You make those 3 tweaks in the season, the Hounds will be perfectly fine. But even though they lose these games, they're getting goals, but they're not getting the stops that they need. And that makes me point at the goaltending and the defense need to be addressed either in practice or via move or trade.
Other hockey from this past weekend, Dave, in junior hockey, or I should say midget AAA, the Sioux Indians split over the weekend. On Saturday, they would lose to Lake Forest Prep Academy out of Chicago, Illinois. And then on Sunday, Logan Millenhouse, Jack Swan, and Seth Francois scored the game-winning goal to lift the Indians to a 4-2 victory. The Indians already with 10 wins this season. They had 11 the entire season last year. Pat Caricato and crew doing a great job with that program. They'll be on the road in Detroit for 3 Maha Tier 1 league games this upcoming weekend against CompuWare and Honey Baked. And the Sioux Junior Greyhounds, Dave, they split over the weekend at home against Kapuskasing as they won on Sunday by the score of 4-1. They would lose 6-4 to the Flyers from Kapuskasing on Saturday, but the Sioux Junior Greyhounds 7-1 on the season. We got a couple pretty good midget AAA squads with the Sioux Junior Greyhounds and the Sioux Indians.
That's refreshing to see, Scotty.
Yes.
Like, you have I think the Sioux Indians, they play a lot of very stiff and different kind of competitions in comparison to what the Northern Ontario midget program has in Sioux, Ontario. But first, to talk about the Indians playing against Honeybaked, they've had
tons of good teams in that league.
It's amazing. Obviously, Patrick came from that program. Alec Martinez, Justin Ablocator.
The amount of D1 players and NHL players you see at an Indians game here is unbelievable.
Exactly.
Or we'll see, I should say.
And having Patty Caricato at the helm, I'm a big fan. Patrick Caricato, and I didn't have the opportunity to have him as a coach, unfortunately, when I played. And I hate bringing up the areas where I say when I played, but I use this as a reference for Patty Caricato because he's a fantastic coach. He knows what he's doing, and I think it all starts with coaching with the team. You can have all the talent in the world. You got to have all the guys buy in and everything, and they do on the Indians right now, and everything is working out, and they're playing some good hockey. It's going to be a great test this weekend. I'm especially excited to watch them play against Honeybaked. The Honeybaked program is fantastic. It's one of the best programs in the country, I believe, in the United States. Now, over in Canada, Jamie Henderson and crew have done a fantastic job. His promotion on Facebook, his promotion of the program in general, and all the sponsors, including over there in Sioux, Ontario, that have been really involved, have really helped that organization continue to develop and grow and patient. And I'll say against Kapuskasing, it's a very good team. That is a very good team over in the AAA program there that they're playing in midget. So they split the weekend. That isn't a failure. That isn't a bad thing. That is still a good thing. Improvement has been shown on the ice with this program, and it's continued to ascend in the right direction. My favorite word to use, ascend. And the Greyhounds are going to keep building this year. And I think fans should be optimistic that maybe we get to see the old hockey back in Sioux, Ontario, and also in Sioux, Michigan, where it was a top team, and we had a top team all the time, and expectations were there, and it all starts with the right people at the helm. Henderson and Caricato have done just that.
We're going to take our final break in hour one here on the game. We come back, we're going to talk college athletics, Laker hockey in action against Denver. We also have Sioux College results, Laker volleyball, and more. That's coming up next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
Honey, it's our favorite time of year, and I got you something to celebrate.
McRib! It's just what I wanted.
Happy McRib season, sweetie.
I love you.
I love you too.
Actually, I was talking to my McRib.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave you two alone.
Celebrate McRib season with McDonald's. Enjoy the deliciously saucy McRib. Only for a limited time and only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Life is busy. Get out and enjoy the fun. Whether that means a block party with the neighborhood or tailgating with the gang, the Honda EU2200i has you covered. Besides being lightweight and durable, Honda portable generators are extremely quiet and can run for hours and hours. The Honda EU2200i now has 200 watts more power with models up to 4,400 watts. You'll love the fuel efficiency and reliability of your new Honda generator. Go to Honda.com or, better yet, visit Lead Sports Center on the I-75 Business Spur and learn firsthand all the ways you can put a Honda generator to work for you. Honda, it's power you can trust.
You can catch podcasts of the game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400, also heard online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason joined by Dave McCaig here in our studios for the first hour. We're going to let Dave get to his Thanksgiving dinner and celebration in hour two. But Dave, thanks for coming over. I know it's a holiday for you, but the show always rocks and rolls a lot better with you by my side, and I appreciate you making the trek over here on a holiday.
No, and you know what, Scotty, it's absolutely no problem, being involved with the show with you and doing everything that we do together with it. And it's not considered no thanks needed, my friend. This is a priority for me to be here and be with the listeners or viewers, whatever way that you check us out here on the Game Sports Show, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Yeah, while you mentioned that, Dave, you can hear this show and all the Game Sports Show family of shows, including Dave's from Soo, Ontario. Our next guest at the top of the hour, Butch Davis, his show, some of our broadcasts of Soo Eagles hockey and more, all at thegamesportshow.com. You can also go directly to the podcast page at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. And Dave, where on the internet, as far as social media, can we find that for Facebook and Instagram?
So on Facebook and Instagram, it's very simply follow us at The Game Sports Show. That's just the basic hashtag or the at handle. There it is, the at handle that you would use. And we're very active on Facebook. We're getting more active on Instagram, obviously, with Instagram being more of a picture based. We put stories on there, but for actual audio clips, Facebook, we have a lot of followers. Our followers have spiked over. We've got a couple hundred more new likes this week just on the page alone. It's great to see, and you can check us on there. I upload all the shows that will direct you either right to the website, right to the YouTube, or right to the Podbean page. Either way, follow us on Facebook and or Instagram. Contest giveaways, details, funny stories, get involved in the chat, everything of such. It's myself and all of us are active on there. We got about 7 people of our family on the show. We're all active on there with myself. EJ is very active on there as well. So make sure you check us out and give us a like and a follow.
Very good, Dave. We got about 10 more minutes here in this segment. Let's talk about college athletics locally. The Laker hockey team was in action against number 2 Denver. Couple losses for the Lakers, but a couple things that I liked what I saw in Saturday's game. They would lose on Friday by the score of 3-1. Ashton Calder had a really good weekend for the Lakers, scored the only Lakers goal. And then on Saturday, a tough 4-3 loss to the Pioneers. The Lakers grabbed the first goal. They gave up 3. It looked like it was going to be a tough night. They would tie it at 3 and then give up the game-winning goal with 20 seconds left on a interesting call, I'll just say. Mm-hmm. But I liked a lot of things I saw from the Lakers, Dave. I was talking with Matt Pocket here before we went on the air about a couple years ago. They took on a very high-ranked Minnesota State team, and they got their, what's handed to them, 5-1 and 7-0. And I remember watching that series and just seeing this team that just looked like they were on they were not on any level that this team. What I saw this weekend, the Lakers, they were toe-to-toe with the number 2 team in the country, Denver. And there's lots of optimism with this Laker hockey program winning the most games in the last 23 years last season. And if they put forth that effort against their upcoming opponents, they're going to have a very good season at the Taffy Able Arena.
Definitely. It's times to be a Lake State fan would be very optimistic, in terms of excitement and just the talent that they have on the ice. And last year was a building point. And you know what? So what? They're down. They lost 2 games this weekend. They were right with them, as you said, against a top team in the country. Okay. It's not easy. Okay. Playing against a team that sure maybe has a bit more resources inside their room at this current point. Lake State has a dedicated program that is dedicated to winning and improving. And that should be excitement around Soo, Michigan, Soo, Ontario as well, as there's a lot of fans over in Soo, Ontario. So, and just around the Upper Peninsula, as you would say. And I think Lake State is in the position where they put that weekend games against Denver on the positive side. They look at it as a building block. They were close. You're trying to rank yourself against these teams that are above you. It's either if you got a first rank, second rank, third rank, how would we do in action against these particular teams? Lake State has proved that they can hold up with these guys on the road. At home. At home, sorry. Mm-hmm. But now it'd be good to see how they would do on the road, is what I meant as well. But either way, it's a measuring stick. And that's a term I don't like to use, but it's a measuring stick against these top-tier talents that Lake State can pull up with against as they continue to improve the program.
Well, guess what? Their next 2 road opponents, Dave, Michigan and Notre Dame. Starting this weekend at Ann Arbor.
There's the measure stick on the road. There it is.
Dave, over on your side of the border, the Sioux College men's hockey team announced that they're hosting what they're calling a Winter Classic against a Division I foe in West Virginia. The Mountaineers coming to Rankin Arena on February 15th, game time at 7:30 against a D1 squad. And, well, they're having a lot of success against some D2 schools. They did tie their first game over the weekend, but they would also win a game at Marian University. And so now they are 5-0-1 next up for the Sioux College at home this weekend against Trine University. Again, those games at the Rankin Arena on October 18th. And Dave, you talked a lot about that squad on your show. We're trying to give them a lot more coverage on this show. A lot of former NOJHL players and Sioux Ontario natives. That team, that program is just on their way up and who knows how high they can get.
Definitely. You know what? And special shout out to the Sioux College Athletics on Instagram. They actually tagged us in a recent Winter Classic post announcement so we could have the breaking news right away from one of our Canadian shows last week. And covering the Sioux College Cougars obviously makes obvious sense for the Game Sports Show, but just in particular with myself, knowing a lot of the players on the team, playing with in junior hockey and men's league with them, and obviously playing against them in both forms. And great group of guys that they have in that room. Obviously some notable talent being Ryan Venderman being there, Mark Tassoni, and also Austin Rowe being another player.
Former Soo Eagle
for sure. And obviously he has a known brother, Jaron Rowe, who's a good hockey player as well as he grew up. So, you know what? They have the right players there at the helm, and their goaltender has been fantastic this year so far. They win the Division III championship last year. Now, with the Division II, they're showing that they had the opportunity to do the same thing again. So with this, let's bring out this term again, the measuring stick. They're playing against a Division I team in February at the Rankin against West Virginia. They have the opportunity to prove that they can skate with those teams. This year, if all goes good and they're able to win again this year with a Division II in the ACHA, they can use that as a point to say, you know what, we were able to keep up with these talents as they hope to even go up to Division I next year. And Sioux College Cougars have a great arena to watch out of at the Rankin. I love the atmosphere at the Rankin. It's one of my favorite rinks to ever play in, and obviously the setup at the Rankin, the seating's great. It sits well over almost 1,000 people in there, 750 to 1,000. Great time to watch, great food at the canteen, and it's right inside an area in the Sioux where it's accessible for everyone to go watch. And overall, Sioux College Cougars, great roster, great team. Gotta give him a thumbs up, Scotty.
Laker volleyball on the weekend would fall on Friday during Great Lakes State weekend to Wisconsin Parkside by a 3-0 count, but they would win on Saturday, beating Purdue Northwest by a 3-0 count. With the win, the Lakers have matched last season's win total at 5, and they'll be on the road this weekend at the GLIAC Great Lakes Valley Conference crossover tournament. Laker cross country was at the Lewis Invitational over the weekend. Best result for the Laker men, David Mitter, who finished 24th. For the women, their best result was Rebecca Lathrop finishing 183rd. Laker women's tennis on the road this weekend. They would fall to Ferris by a 5-2 count, and then they would lose against Grand Valley by a 7-0 count. Laker volleyball will be at home this weekend. They'll take on Davenport on Saturday at 10 a.m. and Purdue Northwest Sunday at 10 a.m. Those matches will take place in the Student Activity Center on the campus of Lake Superior State University. Let's look at our broadcast schedule here on Sovereign Communications on our family of stations right now. On Oldies 93 pregame show for the big Monday night game, the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. That one will kick off around 8:20. You can hear the pregame right now on Oldies 93. Tomorrow night right here on ESPN 1400, the Hockey North show with Randy Russin at 5 o'clock, and the Laker Hockey show with Bill Crawford and head coach Damon Witten on ESPN 1400 tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Detroit Red Wings, they'll be at Vancouver on our sister station, 1230 WSOO, starting with the pregame show at 7:40. And then the Game Sports Show with Dave McCaig will be Soo Online on TV tomorrow night. Wednesday, Game Sports Show at thegamesportshow.com with Dave McCaig. Also, Soo Greyhounds at home against the Sudbury Wolves over on our sister station, Rock 101, with Jerry Liscombe Jr. Another edition of the Game Sports Show Thursday night with Dave McCaig at thegamesportshow.com. Detroit Red Wings, they'll be at Calgary, taking on the Flames on 1230 WSOO, starting with the pregame show at 8:40. Busy Friday night, Oldies 93, the EUP game of the week with Matt Pocket, as Engadine will take on Rudyard, starting with the pregame show at 6:45. Over on Yes FM, Laker Hockey with Bill Crawford, as the Lakers will take on Michigan at 6:35. Then on 1230 WSOO, the Detroit Red Wings will be at Edmonton, starting at 8:40. The undefeated Oilers at 5-0. Saturday, busy day, Coach's Corner with Dave Watson, 11:05 on 1230 WSOO. Soo High Blue Devil football against Ludington with Dave Watson at 4 o'clock. Actually, Matt Pocket doing Coach's Corner, filling in for Dave, who will be traveling with the team. He'll be in Ludington for that game at 4. Laker Hockey against Michigan on Yes FM at 6:35. Hounds at home against Barrie, 6:35 on Rock 101. Cochrane will take on the Soo Eagles. Matt Pocket will be doing that game right here on ESPN 1400 at 6:45. And the Detroit Red Wings, no, they don't play Toronto that night. They already played them. Take that out. And then on Sunday, Oldies 93, Minnesota will take on the Detroit Lions, and North Bay will take on the Soo Greyhounds. Dave, we got about a minute and a half. We're hoping to be joined by Butch Davis. Usually he chimes in by now. We'll have to wait to hear if Butch will join us. We may have you stick around maybe for another segment. But Dave, before we let you go in a minute, your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
You know what? Obviously, we got busy times over in South Ontario with Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, lots of shows going on. So, my whole thumbs up for the week is all the sponsors, everything involved with the show, and some potential new incoming sponsors involving with the show as well. Everyone that does their part. Yourself, Scotty, your EJ, Butch, Jamie Antonello, Dustin, Matt, Justin, Alex, the crew over at Soo Online, as you mentioned, with On TV. Just overall, thumbs up to what they do and putting up with my patience and my persistence, annoyance, dedication, especially with Mark and Keith here at Sovereign.
I think your girlfriend Hannah might have the dibs on this one.
Too. There's
good luck.
Thumbs up to everyone involved around with the show. It wouldn't be to where it was if it wasn't for everyone who was involved, and including you, the listeners and the viewers of the show. And I'll say a special thumbs up as well to the Toronto Maple Leafs finally getting back into the win column against the Detroit Red Wings. Nonetheless, it's time to get back on the right track, and that's where I'm leaving it this week. It sums up all around.
Dave, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week here on The Game.
Sounds good, Scotty.
That's going to do it for hour one. Want to thank Bruno Bragagnolo and Robert Mazzuca and Dave McCaig for joining us. Coming up in hour two, we'll be joined by EJ Russell around 7:20, and our next guest will be coming up after the break, Butch Davis, who will get us up to date on the Detroit sports scene. You're listening to The Game on ESPN 1400.
Mo at M&C Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? M&C Water Systems proudly distributes natural, artesian water for all your bottled water needs. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. M&C Water Systems delivers to all the local islands, too. Need a water filter? M&C has them. Need a softener? Drinking water system? Want to find out about reverse osmosis? Call Mo at M&C Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern Upper Peninsula for over 25 years.
You want more from a compact or utility tractor, and at Skinner's of Pickford, you'll find more. More of the newest Massey Ferguson tractors, offering more versatility, more durability, and more performance. Stop by today and find out how Massey Ferguson is expanding the possibilities of what a great tractor can be, and why a Massey Ferguson will be the last tractor you'll ever need. Come see the Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You wanted a small tractor with a mid-PTO for more versatility. Massey Ferguson responded by bringing back a versatile workhorse, the Massey Ferguson 1526 Compact Tractor, now available at Skinner's of Pickford. A tractor that can do more because it's made to handle more. As hardworking and no-nonsense as you are. See it today at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. Let's get to the second half of the game here on ESPN 1400, WKNW, Sault Ste. Marie's sports leader. It's the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Now, here's Scott Nason.
Welcome back to The Game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason back for hour two of the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. And we are into the regional portion of the show with our next guest, co-host, and all-around good guy. His name's Butch Davis, who joins us each and every week from the Metro Detroit area. Butch has his own show, Butch On Sports, which you can find on his podcast page, Simply Butch2, that's TOO.podomatic.com, or you can find it on our website, thegamesportshow.com, as Butch lends his expertise, wit, and all-around charm to our listeners each and every week. Butch, that's probably one of the best intros I've ever done for you. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Pretty good there, pretty good. Nice and cold and chilly here. Everybody got the door shut.
Oh, that's good, Butch. And we got the heat on here up north, that's for sure. And, well, there's not going to be frozen tundra tonight in Green Bay, Butch, but there's going to be a very key NFC North game between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Kickoff at 8:20 on Oldies 93. Here locally. Butch, what are your thoughts going into this big game in a very good division in the NFC North?
no fun at all here. The Lions win. They're in first place. They lose. Well, they're in the bottom of the barrel there. You know, give and take kind of game here for the Detroit Lions here. They're on the national stage tonight, as you know. And if people don't know also, if you are a regular Lions prescriber or taker there, this game is on ESPN, but also it could be on your local ABC affiliate here at your house here. So you got 2 for 1. If you don't have cable, you'll still be able to get to see the game there. So it's a winner for everybody as far as seeing the Lions perform in front of a national crowd and see what the offense and defense is really about, because they do have their hands full with over on the Arsenal of Green Bay. The defense is better. Their offense is getting better. I would say it's going to get a lot better when the familiarity of the new coach and Rodgers is there. But right now, you see some good things. Green Bay is banged up. The Lions have a chance to pounce on that. But again, this is going to be a test for them to see what they can do on a national network there.
Butch, let's move on to the Detroit Red Wings. 1-2 this past week, losing to Toronto at home on Saturday night by the score of 5-2. They're going to start a West Coast trip tomorrow night as they will take on Vancouver. What have you seen from the Wings here early in the season? We saw them break a losing streak in Montreal, a couple wins to start the season. What are your thoughts right now?
Well, first, let me say this for fans. Some know and some don't know that Jimmy Delorano, I saw him last Saturday at the game there. He was looking pretty well, but today he went under the knife. He's the senior vice president of Detroit Red Wings. He had successful non-cancerous brain tumor in his brain there, and that was very successful there in hospital in Detroit. He's resting comfortably, as has been reported by the Red Wings staff. Hopefully he has a full and speedy recovery there. As far as the Red Wings are concerned, there's not too much you can really say. They stunk it up against Toronto on Saturday night there, big time there. I think the lesson they have to learn is that the third and fourth line will do their very, very best to bail them out. They did so in this particular game. As far as the others is concerned, Larkins and Tuesday, for instance, on the line with Massa, they're going to be pouncing on Massa. These two got to be ready to shoot the puck as well and get some haywire. That's the only way that Massa is going to get free. And when he was free, and we're talking about Massa there, he missed 3 opportunities to get goals there. 2 were definite there where they rang off the post. Can't get no luckier than that, but he has to, capitalize on them as well. Again, as far as the Leafs concerned, the young Bucks started up and got up there and did their very best to beat up on the Red Wings. Matthews had no points for the Leafs, so they bottled him up as per Massa for the Red Wings. But again, everybody else for the Maple Leafs, they did show up and put a hurting on the Red Wings there.
Butch, the energy inside Little Caesars Arena Saturday night, you were there. I had a chance to watch part of it. Obviously, there's a lot of Toronto fans that are there, but was there is there an increased energy level that you've witnessed so far this season?
Well, increased energy level, maybe, but as far as concern of the crowd showing up and selling the place out, it has not been the case, not as of yet there. I see a lot of empty seats still in the arena, although they did change the colors from red to black. I can see a lot of seats there. And the Red Wings is going to continue to have to prove themselves in order for the fans to successfully come back. As far as the organization is concerned, the Little Caesars Arena, they get the 19,000 in there, but they just don't get the crowds they once had at the old barnyard there that's being torn down.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, let's talk about another team that's in action, preseason action, the Detroit Pistons. They're off tonight. They'll be at Philadelphia tomorrow night. A couple exciting games at home, including their last victory over Cleveland. Some new additions to the team. I've liked what I've seen from Derrick Rose and his energy level. What have you witnessed so far with the Pistons? Granted, it's preseason, but what are some of your thoughts early on?
Well, the energy level of the Pistons is pretty good, I per se there. But again, that doesn't prove a whole heck of a lot there right now, as the Pistons have to establish a bench for their starters there. You just can't blow your starters away and have nothing to show when it comes time for them to get a little rest on the bench there. And the competition really, Christian Wood has surprised me big time there. And it's going to be a very hard thing to swallow if the Pistons have to let him go or basically send him up to Grand Rapids. He is very close to staying with them, but he's in good competition with Joe Johnson and also being a backup for center because Tom Maker, again, he's given every opportunity in the world to get out there and prove himself very able to take care of Andre Drummond. And sometimes I feel like a nut, sometimes I don't type of energy he has given so far in this preseason.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, we talked about high school football and sports in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. Always like to get your perspective on some of the things going on in your neck of the woods as we're starting to get towards crunch time. Many teams have punched their ticket to the playoffs. What's going on in the Metro Detroit area as far as high school football and high school sports?
Well, right now the closest downriver, I will say, would be Brownstown, Woodhaven there. That team is very, very explosive. They have a lot of good size on the team, and they haven't been a big-time team in past years there. They've been playoffs a couple of times, but again, this year is just something special about that particular team in general there. River Rouge, again, and I'll kind of mention that because I went through the classes between A and D on the amount of people who have already classified for the playoffs there last night on my show. But again, teams like River Rouge are going to have a heck of a time. They'll make it into the playoffs per se because they have the automatic 7 wins. But again, where they're being seeded at because of the point system has very much so changed. A lot of teams that enjoyed the home field advantage for maybe 2 or 3 rounds are not going to get that opportunity anymore. So it's a very big scramble of playing good teams. Some of the leagues are just built for good points and whatnot, and then there's some of the leagues that River Rouge is in that's not built for very good points at all because it's a very weak league with very weak competition in it.
Butch, what are some of the other happenings in Detroit sports? I wanted to touch on maybe the Major League Baseball playoffs and our favorite subject, wrestling, before we get to EJ Russell. But what are some of the other sporting events or things going on in Detroit that you want to make our listeners aware of?
Well, the 23rd annual Marathon MAC Championship has already been announced. It's going to be scheduled for Saturday, December 7th. At Ford Field, around about maybe a 7 o'clock game per se there. Those tickets are going to be on sale starting on Monday there. It's Mid-American Conference East versus the West in that particular one. And those are seem to be, and I've been to at least, just counted by 11 of them right now. Wow. There, those championship games. They're very pretty entertaining all the way from beginning to end. You got nothing else to do in that particular evening there. It's some pretty exciting football. The fans do show up for that particular, which is my surprise. When it first started, it was very few, it was a lot of empty seats there, but now that's not the case anymore there. The lower bowl and the upper bowl is almost full. Very exciting football team. In the MAC conference, with the Chippewas we haven't talked about, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan pulling off some upsets, but again, not too good of a team that I would anticipate to see them in the extravaganza in Detroit. But again, Ball State is another team they're looking out for. There's some good teams in the Mid-American Conference that you can look at and they do turn out to professional athletes in whatever sport it may gather there, especially in football lately these days. There's a lot of good people come out that particular conference.
Butch, Game 3 of the National League Championship Series tonight. Washington, who knocked off the Dodgers in 5, up 2-0 against St. Louis, and then you have the Yankees and Houston tied at 1. Playoff baseball, always exciting. How about the Nationals? That's quite the story. I guess they don't need Bryce Harper right now, do they?
Well, I'm still laughing at the whole situation myself personally. I don't know why Bryce was left, but again, he had his reasons, and they all backfired in his face, so help me. I don't want to laugh. But anyway, I did say last week the winner out of that particular shebang with Los Angeles and the Nationals would represent the National League. It seems like right now, 2-0 right now, on the road with the Nationals. Pitching has been great there, and then there's more to come. If that pans out the way it should pan out there, the Nationals may have an easy walk getting into the World Series there. I enjoyed that game tremendously there. I enjoyed their defense. They kept teams at bay so far, and pretty doggone good. As far as the Yankees now and Astros, I think that's going to be as Jim Ross say, a slammerooski there. That's going to be something that I don't think the pitching is always going to hold up there per se, although to me Houston has the edge in the starting pitching, where I would say the Yankees will have the edge in the bullpen there per se. Well, it's pretty good series. I think that's going to be back and forth.
Butch, I always like to talk about wrestling, and especially with you. And I had a chance again last week to kind of watch the Wednesday Night Wars and the product that's being put out right now by AEW. I got to say, I like some of the action I've seen. I've liked how they're introducing these characters. Of course, you have some familiar characters for those that have watched wrestling in the Rhodes and Chris Jericho and John Moxley, Dean Ambrose in the WWE. But I'm really thinking that this could potentially continue to maybe not quite be the Monday Night Wars of the past, but there's a very qualified and good alternative, at least in my opinion, in the world of wrestling. What are your thoughts here into week 2 of the new show and how things are going?
Well, it's proved right now that there's room for both leagues to exist there, because there's a humongous amount of talent out there that doesn't get seen on a regular basis, and the AEW gives that kind of raw power. And plus some wrestlers that we had not seen in the past, okay, that used to be shining with the WWE, but now very much so a great part of the new wrestling stage that's put out by TNT and also Turner Network. It's pretty doggone exciting. The storyline is great. You can tell about the entertainment value in it is outstanding there. I've seen some moves, and it's continuously the moves that they would use maybe in NXT. Which, by the way, in the ratings for that Wednesday, AEW reigned supreme in that there. I think the WWE made a boo-boo when they didn't put NXT on maybe on a Tuesday or Thursday night there. But again, they'll suffer like everybody else. But again, I'm very shocked with the AEW's performance. It's more than what I could imagine.
Absolutely. Butch Davis joining us on the game. Again, you can catch Butch's show, Butch On Sports, on his podcast page, simply Butch2. That's TOO.podomatic.com, or you can find it at thegamesportshow.com. Butch, we're going to go to our roundtable here in a couple minutes with EJ Russell, but what is your week looking like as far as sports you're going to be covering? And just give us a little snapshot into the exciting life of Butch Davis.
That's right. Oh, boy. I just follow my crown here, and I have a crappy life here. Let me tell you, this week, not too many professional teams in town, per se. I don't know why. Midway's out of town, of course, there. Pistons going to be taking their last 2 games out of town. And so high school football will be the thing to watch this week because it's getting close to the end for that particular. And the playoffs are going to be looming about a good another week, 2 weeks in counting. So I'm kind of going to take my time and see some high school games this weekend on Friday. Definitely, they'll start early, render late, and I'm taking that per se. Butch On Sports, we'll talk about that a little bit more on Wednesday night show there.
Butch, stand by after the next break. We'll be joined by EJ Russell, yourself, and myself. I don't know if that's proper English, but I just said it for the roundtable, so stand by. We'll talk to you here in a minute.
Yeah, well, happy Thanksgiving. You know I'm a Canadian.
That's right. That's right.
As soon as we get off the air, dinner will be served.
Well, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving again to Butch Davis and all our Canadian friends. We're going to take a break here on the game. We come back, we're going to talk to EJ Russell from Escanaba, Michigan, as we will start our roundtable, as we will discuss a myriad of sporting topics around the area. That's coming up next on the game here on ESPN 1400.
Looking for the lowest prices and the best deals on quality used cars, trucks, or SUVs? Look no further than Rodenroth Motors. We have the largest selection of quality pre-owned certified vehicles ever, all priced below book, and all come with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. It's our way of standing behind what we sell and guaranteeing you that you'll get the highest quality pre-owned vehicle only at Rodenroth Motors. Stop in and check out our largest selection ever, with prices starting at $49.95. I'm sure we'll have something for you. Don't forget to look for the hang tag specials. These units are clearly priced at or near dealer cost. Just another way we can save you even more money. Come see why all roads lead to Rodenroth Motors for Chevy, Buick, and GMC, the #1 volume dealer in the Eastern UP, at the corner of 3 Mile and Mackinac Trail in beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. Chevy, find new roads.
Hello, my name is Dana Mansfield, and I'm the mastectomy fitter at Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. American Breast Care has new breast form designs, which we now carry. Not only are all of ABC's breast forms made in the USA, but ABC is also dedicated to helping women lead fuller lives after breast cancer surgery.
Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies is a part of your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy with a caring, compassionate mastectomy fitter dedicated to helping you celebrate life. ABC offers a full line of breast forms and bras, ensuring you receive the perfect style and fit for you. For more information about American Breast Care products, call Dana at 906-632-1923 or stop in at Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies at the corner of Ashman and Spruce Street, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Armstrong Medical Equipment and Supplies, where your health is our business. ACHC accredited. And remember Armstrong Pharmacy for your prescription medications. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
When your car breaks down, it's always a hassle. It seems you're always late for a meeting, or it's at night, or in the middle of nowhere. Then, to add insult to injury, you're stuck with a bill for waking up some poor towing company employee to tow you and your ride back to a repair shop. Cha-ching! Dean Garlinghouse and Farm Bureau Insurance can't keep your car from breaking down, but they can take some of the sting out of the whole thing. With roadside emergency service, that's the best in the business. Farm Bureau's signature service says, you need a tow? Lock yourself out of your car? Run out of gas? Need help changing a tire? Call the wrecker, sign the invoice, and Farm Bureau picks up the tab. Up to $300 per occurrence. Now, don't expect Dean to come out and do it. He's a whiz with coverage, but he's kind of clumsy with a wrench. Talk with Dean and the folks at Farm Bureau Insurance today at the corner of 8th and Ashman in the Soo. Or give Dean a call at 635-7250. From Michigan's Insurance Company, insuring Michigan's autos, homes, farms, and businesses. Dean Garlinghouse at Farm Bureau Insurance.
O'Connor's Chrysler Dodge Truck and Jeep in Pickford is your full-service dealership, servicing Pickford and the surrounding areas with pride for more than 50 years. O'Connor's top-notch body shop includes a state-of-the-art frame straightener. O'Connor's is also a proud supporter of community events. Its sales team has the experience to know which model is right for each customer. And with financing available to back your purchase, you can drive away today in your dream vehicle. Local people, local pride. Stop in today on M129 at O'Connor.
Well, it's now officially fall, and if you'd like to kill two birds with one stone... Wait, that was just an expression. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, you can make some extra money by cleaning up around your home, garage, and yard. Gather your scrap metal and bring it to Reed Metals. Reed Metals pays $50 for a full, large General Motors catalytic converter and $6 per average car battery and $12 per semi-battery. Bring in scrap vehicles or any other recyclable metals, and they'll print you a check. Reed Metals, the honest one-stop metal recycling business. Visit reedmetals.com or call 906-632-0018. Reed Metals, 13 miles south of the Soo on Mackinac Trail. Reed Metals is only minutes away from helping you make money before the summer ends. No birds were harmed during this production, nor were any actual stones thrown.
Paul Thompson here with Gaylor Thompson Sales and Service, just off I-75 in Rudyard, inviting you to stop in and see the largest selection of equipment in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. To complement our full line of Mahindra tractors, we have trailers including goosenecks, dumps, cargoes, car haulers, and utility trailers. We also have a full line of lawn and garden equipment with Cub Cadet and X-Mark. Over 50 mowers to choose from, a full line of parts, and we service what we sell. Looking for an outdoor wood or pellet furnace or parts? We stock water pumps, exchangers, spec supplies, and more. Also, check out our full line of Boss and Fisher snow and ice equipment. Here at Gaylor Thompson and Rudyard, we are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to noon for your convenience. Just off I-75 in Rudyard, 30 minutes from the bridge. If you need it, we have it. Give us a call at 906-478-3026. Hope to see you here.
Honey, it's our favorite time of year, and I got you something to celebrate.
McRib! It's just what I wanted.
Happy McRib season, sweetie.
I love you.
I love you too.
Actually, I was talking to my McRib.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave you two alone.
Celebrate McRib season with McDonald's. Enjoy the deliciously saucy McRib, only for a limited time and only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's.
The local housing market is competitive, and unless you have the right team in your corner, you might miss out on your dream home. That's why happy customers choose Old Mission Bank for their home mortgage needs. We provide quality service from the time you submit your application to closing and then through the entire life of your loan. Let our friendly, knowledgeable staff be your financial partner. Call or stop by to check out our competitive rates and all the other fast, simple solutions we offer at Old Mission Bank. We're located in Pickford and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Life is busy. Get out and enjoy the fun. Whether that means a block party with the neighborhood or tailgating with the gang, the Honda EU 2200i has you covered. Besides being lightweight and durable, Honda portable generators are extremely quiet and can run for hours and hours. The Honda EU 2200i now has 200 watts more power with models up to 4400 watts. You'll love the fuel efficiency and reliability of your new Honda generator. Go to Honda.com or, better yet, visit Leak Sports Center on the I-75 Business Spur and learn firsthand all the ways you can put a Honda generator to work for you. Honda, it's power you can trust.
Let's get back to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Let's get back to the game on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to the game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. Scott Nason broadcasting from our studios on 3 Mile Road. We're having some technical difficulties on the phones with Butch Davis, trying to get him reestablished, but we are joined right now by our next guest, contributor, and all-around good guy, EJ Russell.
Yo.
I was waiting for that. Joining us from Escanaba, Michigan. It's going to be a small roundtable, it appears, EJ, but hey, it's nothing we can't handle. First of all, how are you doing? Happy Columbus Day, and of course, happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian friends. How's EJ tonight?
I'm excellent. Actually got a promotion at work last week, so switching car dealerships now. Won't say the brand because I'm certain that I can't.
Thank you.
But happy to be here. A very exciting week in sports. And I'll enjoy, what is it, a two-man roundtable today?
It's a two-man roundtable. Dave is crossing the bridge as we speak for Thanksgiving. Well, Butch hopefully can get to his Thanksgiving dinner earlier. We'll try to reestablish contact with him during our next break. But EJ, it's the roundtable portion of our show here at 7:27 on a Monday night, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. We touched on some national sports with Butch Davis, so let's you and I do that right now. EJ Russell, we're going to give you first topic. I guess I'm the only guy here that's going to be able to respond, at least at this point. What's on your mind in the world of sports tonight, sir?
Well, I'll give you this question first. You want to talk college football or pro football?
Why don't we go college first there, EJ, because we didn't touch with that with Butch, I should say.
Okay, well then in the college sports scene, there have been some big changes in the last week, most notably Georgia getting upset in double overtime. And so my question to you is, with Georgia taking that double overtime loss to South Carolina, and the way that other games like Miami, Virginia played out, Michigan State really getting shut out, and even Notre Dame having a 3-point win over USC, what's your top 6 look like right now? How does Georgia's loss impact the number of SEC teams that potentially can make the playoffs? And where do you see the Big Ten and even Pac-12 making it into this playoff picture?
Good question, EJ. Had a lot of football games on over the weekend, including in college, and I was really watching that Georgia-South Carolina game from the second half on, and it seemed like no team wanted to win that game for a while. I mean, there were missed field goals, there were just some weird plays there, and that's a big loss, I think, for the SEC, because now you are only going to have one undefeated team potentially, because Alabama, who's 1, LSU, who's 2, had a big win at home against Florida. They're going to play on November 9th at Alabama. So obviously that's going to be a 1-loss team, one of those two. And so you're only guaranteed one undefeated SEC team, which more than likely was going to happen anyway due to them beating up each other. So I think that affects the SEC, as it may be harder to get 2 teams in. Obviously the winner of that Alabama LSU game is going to be in very good shape, but they will take on a potential Florida or Georgia, and you can't count Auburn out of that group as well. So the SEC is going to beat each other up. I think they get 1 team in, possibly 2, but right now you still got to put Alabama at number 1, in my opinion. Texas A&M, it took a while to get going, but Alabama's a good team, and they're going to have a couple tough games coming up. LSU, obviously Auburn with the Iron Bowl. You got to put LSU at number 2. I agree with at least the AP Top 25, LSU moving from 5-2 with that big win against Florida. And, you look at their schedule coming up. They're at Mississippi State. Then they take on Auburn. They get a bye week, and then Alabama. So that Auburn-Alabama back-to-back games before the bye week and after the bye week, obviously going to say a lot for the Bayou Bengals. Clemson, again, they drop in the poll. They really didn't have much of a challenge against Florida State, but you still got to put them as one of the top 6 teams. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of competition in the ACC. I think Clemson's a pretty safe bet, at least at this point, to make it into the playoff. And then you got the Big Ten right now, and you got 3 undefeated teams: Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State. Ohio State had the bye this week, so they stay put at 4. I don't think they're too worried, at least at this point, on their schedule. I mean, you look at the Ohio State Buckeyes right now. They do have they do have Wisconsin coming up in a couple weeks. That's in Columbus. They also have Penn State at home, and then they go to Michigan. And you can't count Michigan out either. You have Wisconsin at 6-0. I mean, that Michigan State team was embarrassed, and the Upper Peninsula, I think, seceded to Wisconsin on Twitter, at least, as far as the results there. And then you have Penn State kind of sitting there at number 7. You can't count out Notre Dame or those SEC teams in Florida and Georgia. So right now, to answer your question, EJ, top 6, Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State. Kind of forgot about Oklahoma there winning the Red River Shootout. And then you got to put Wisconsin in there. So I know I'm pretty boring in this, but the top 6 in the AP are my top 6 right now. But there's lots and lots of things that can change, and we'll see what happens. EJ, your thoughts on your own topic, sir?
Well, I think that clearly the Georgia game has the biggest outcome or most important effect based on that loss, because that makes it almost impossible with LSU beating Florida for an SEC East team to really make a run at pushing into that SEC title game with the hopes to get to the SEC championship and win it and go to the playoff. I think hands down the SEC champion will make the playoffs. I think if you do see a 1-loss Georgia or Florida, I believe Florida only has 1 loss. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that if you see a 1-loss Florida or Georgia team beat an Alabama or an LSU in that SEC championship game, I think that there's still a chance that you could see two SEC teams just because I don't think that the Pac-12 is playing up to the standard right now. I think that the Notre Dame USC game actually tells us a lot more about Notre Dame in the fact that, yes, they're sneaking into the top 10 as far as the rankings goes, but I don't know that I fully buy into what they're doing. That and the fact that they don't have a championship game, I think that really hurts Notre Dame. So I agree very much with you, Scott. I do believe that the top 6 in the AP right now are the top 6. But I think, to me, the team that I find most interesting right now has to be Penn State. Ohio State's got difficult games coming up against Wisconsin, against Michigan, and Penn State. But if you look at Penn State's remaining schedule, yes, they do have to play the Buckeyes. Yes, they do have to play the University of Michigan, which is still a 16th ranked team. Okay, but look at the other games that they have on there. You have Michigan that's currently ranked at 16, should hold similar ranking. Ohio State's in the top 6. But when you go down the line, there's an important game that I think is going to be more important as we get closer. And I give a lot of credit to the coach of this university's team, and that's Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah.
This is a time that's 6-0 and ranked number 20 in the country for the first time since early to the 2014, I think it was.
Yep.
PJ Fleck is doing a great job. I'll grab an oar. I'll row the boat.
Row the boat,
what
baby.
He's doing with that program. He did a great job at Western Michigan. So Penn State, I think, is the team that really determines its destiny more than any other, because Ohio State knows that everybody's going to be gunning for them the rest of the way. University of Michigan, yes, they do have a loss on their resume right now, but everybody always guns for a team like that. And Penn State's kind of the the forgotten child of the Big Ten that can make that push. They still have to play Michigan State, who I do not expect to be unranked at the end of the year. And again, they just beat number 17 Iowa on the road in what was a close game in a tough place to play. But if they can walk away from the Michigan State game, the Minnesota game, and Ohio State games with significant victories, Penn State may be the favorite to upset some of these other universities, the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Oklahomas. One of those are going to get in, if not, 3 out of the 4. It's going to be a very exciting time as we get into championship weekend. But the team that I am concentrating on right now, yes, Minnesota is still undefeated, but that probably won't be the case. Penn State is the team that is most interesting to me right now.
EJ Russell joining us on the game for our roundtable. I will bring out the next topic. EJ, you mentioned it in the 2 topics that you wanted to mention, so we're going to mention it right now. NFL, as we are less than an hour away from the big game at Lambeau Field featuring the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. You can hear that game on Oldies 93, our sister station. And, well, EJ, we have 2 undefeated teams. New England, which I don't think a whole lot of people are surprised at, despite the offense maybe not being the most fluid we'll see all year, and the San Francisco 49ers. I think yesterday was a statement game against the Rams, and boy, did that defense show up. They are proving a very elite defense and a team to be reckoned with. And then on the other side of the coin, you have Miami and Cincinnati winless. Your Browns, another tough game at home. I just want your overall thoughts on week 6 in the NFL. What are some of the things that you were watching? Your Browns again. Are you pushing the panic button yet? And just overall thoughts, EJ.
Well, I'll address the Browns since that's the last thing you mentioned. I'm not pushing the panic button at any point during this season, because I think that even if we come close to a 500 record, I think that that's still a giant move forward as far as this team's going. And the fact that we do have a rookie head coach, and I think that Baker Mayfield still has some pieces that he has to work on. I wasn't sold on all of his work last year. I do believe in Baker Mayfield. I think he has all the right tools. I just think him and Freddie need to grow a little bit more together. I think we haven't developed the way that the offense should be run. I say we like I work for the organization. I'm sorry. But the Cleveland Browns need to continue to work on what their game plan needs to be. And I think that the number one mistake that they're making is that they need to continue to run the ball through Nick Chubb. I think that this is an exceptional talent in this league that we're going to see for a long, long time. And pending any kind of personal issues, which I don't believe that his demeanor leads you to believe that that's possible. I think that next year will be the better year for the Cleveland Browns. As far as victories go this week, Scott, I think you nailed it right on the head. The 49ers really did come out in a statement game. This is a team that until playing the 3-2 Los Angeles Rams as they were yesterday, hadn't played a team with a winning record. Okay? And it's significant to remember that the San Francisco 49ers have the second best defense in the league. And Scott, do you know which team has number one defense right now?
I think New England.
That'd be the New England Patriots. So you got Tom Brady in number one defense, and you got Jimmy G in the number two defense. Now, does that happen to be a happy coincidence? Yes, because you got big brother, little brother demographic, or kind of not demographic, excuse me, kind of role story playing out here because Jimmy G was the backup quarterback there, showed a lot of promise in the games that Tom Brady was suspended a few years ago before he got hurt and Jacoby Brissett had to step in. But there's another guy that's having his own success. So let's give a little credit to the New England Patriots there. Going into this week, was I surprised that those were the only two teams that were really making a significant run undefeated? Sure. But San Francisco did a great job of quieting a lot of the critics this week, beating Los Angeles Rams that have more than capable tools on the offensive side of football. But can we give a little bit of credit to the Arizona Cardinals here, coming out and beating a Falcons team that has some significant talent on it, winning 34-33. I think they did a great job. I think the story of the weekend is the New York Jets beating them Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
And I won't get too into what I want to say there because I'm saving that for my thumbs up and thumbs down. But the most interesting game was the Texans and Chiefs, and this is a game that the Chiefs lost at home. And I think that we can credit the Detroit Lions for putting together that game plan, showing that if you take away that downfield pass for them, that you can really make a run at the Chiefs. They are exposed at this point. They have their flaws. I give Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans a lot of credit for finding a way to win that game. But that tells me more about the Chiefs than it does the Texans. The Texans are more than capable, but the Chiefs got to find a way to dig themselves out of this hole and continue to be the team everyone thinks they're going to be. Otherwise, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to finish this year with the kind of success that people are hoping he's going to.
EJ, I'm going to forego my NFL talk because we only have time for about 8 more minutes with you, and then we're going to get Butch on towards the end to finish his thoughts. So I'm going to go right back to you for your topic. Do you have another topic that you want to talk about during this abbreviated roundtable tonight, sir?
Well, Scotty, you know me. I could talk all day long.
We need a 3-hour show.
Baseball?
Let's talk a little baseball.
Let's talk a little baseball. We've got Game 3 of the NLCS going on right now. Washington Nationals, a team that just lost Bryce Harper to the Phillies, has a 2-0 lead over the Cardinals. What do you think is going to happen in that series? Then you got Astros, Yankees on the other side, tied 1-1. Two very prolific offenses. Astros, I'm looking at my ESPN app right now, 107 and 55. The Yankees, 103 and 59. Both loaded with very good bats, very good pitching. The Astros have Verlander and Cole on their team, both Cy Young candidates. How do you see either of those series playing out?
Well, considering I picked the Dodgers for the World Series, I wouldn't take too much stock into my thoughts on baseball, but I will say that Washington, a very interesting team. You know, this is a team that was down in their wild card game at home, a team that seemed to never get out of the opening round. As a matter of fact, when they won Game 1 in the National League Championship Series against the Dodgers, or the Division Series, it was their first win since 81, or maybe that was the Championship Series. Either way, of course, this is the former Montreal Expo franchise, and I think it's fantastic. I'm a big Scherzer fan, obviously, watching him grow up through the Detroit farm system and pitching for the Tigers, and I just love the fact that Big Money Bryce goes to what he thought were greener pastures. Well, those pastures aren't too green. All the green is in Washington, D.C., and we're not talking money. We're talking grass in Washington as the Nationals. 2 wins away from the World Series. Who would have thought it? I just don't see how St. Louis can beat this team 4 out of 5 with that starting pitching. If they can get past that starting pitching and get to the bullpen, they might have a shot. That was the Achilles heel for Washington going into the playoffs. But boy, beating the Dodgers, a team that just disappoints year in and year out. And I don't know how that team can still be left together after this one. Kershaw definitely getting the brunt of the Dodgers fans' frustration. So I like the Nationals, and boy, this Houston Yankees series, I think it's going to be a team's going to win one night and the other team's going to win the other, and it's going to go down to Game 7. I like Houston. I think they're the more complete team, but boy, they needed that one last night. It took 11 innings, but they got it. That is just a series. I hate to say that's your World Series, but I really think it is right now. But hey, the Nationals are playing on the house's money, so anything can happen. EJ, what are your thoughts on the postseason in Major League Baseball?
Well, I think you nailed the Cardinals-National series on the head, and that all is going to come down to starting pitching for the Washington Nationals. This is a team that has let up a total of 1 run through the first 2 games against the St. Louis Cardinals team that you can never count out of the playoffs, just because of the fact that they have so many veterans on that team. They have one of my favorite players that I appreciate watching in Yadier Molina, and this is a leader on this team. This guy calls games like it's nobody's business. They have great pitching. They have the money to pay their players. This is an organization that has a history of winning that ends up getting to this point. It feels like, and I don't have any stats to back this up, I'm sure I can look them up, but this is a team that feels like every third year is in the World Series. They're making a run at it. The St. Louis Cardinals know how to run an organization extremely well. And I think that the Nationals have done a great job of quieting those bats. And if they continue to do so and can get the production out of their bullpen, like you said, I think that those players believe in that lineup enough that they're going to continue to remain confident in that batter's box throughout the entire series. The Yankees-Astros is a series that really is the curveball for me, Scott. And I think that whoever wins that is the favorite to win the World Series. This is the Astros' 3rd consecutive year in the ALCS, but this isn't a place where we're surprised to see the New York Yankees. Okay? They still have one of the biggest payrolls in baseball. They still got guys on their team that can hit the ball farther than a lot of men that I've ever met or seen play in my entire life. They're an extremely good baseball team. They hit the ball well. They have the players that they've spent the money on to get there. But I really believe that the Houston Astros are the better team. They got 2 guys on their team, in Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander, that are both Cy Young candidates, very much 1 and 2 in most major categories when it comes to ERA and wins and this percentage and that. These are 2 of the best pitchers in baseball, and you got them on the same team. If one doesn't win the Cy Young, the other one's gonna. So you can write that, book it. I don't care what you say. If Verlander doesn't win it, Garrett Cole will. If Garrett Cole doesn't win it, Verlander will. When you have those 2 great pitchers on your team, you should win a series. I don't know if I can name any other team that I've ever watched in my lifetime that has had 2 Cy Young candidates on the same team. I think they're doing a great job. So let's see how things come out there. I'll take the Astros, and I'll ride the Nationals train. Not because I think that they are the better team, but they're playing the better ball right now, and they've only given up 1 run in 2 games.
EJ, before we get to your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, I want to hear your thoughts. You're right on the border of, well, basically the border of Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula, maybe a few miles around it, but you're closer than we are. Packers-Lions. Lions win, they're in first. They lose, they're in last. Crazy division. Who do you think's going to win tonight?
Well, I'll say this. I'm sitting in the coach's corner of my favorite pub here, which some of you may know about. And I see some blue, I see some green, I see some yellow. I'm not sure where these fans think the games are going to go. We got a lot of Packers fans here, but we got a lot of Lions fans. I'll say this. If the Packers can get the kind of rushing production out of Aaron Jones that they are, am I saying, is it Aaron Jones?
Yes.
If they continue to get the kind of production out of him, or is it Adam Jones, Scott?
Aaron Jones, yep. I had him on my fantasy bench last week, so I know him quite well.
I don't think Aaron Jones is going to score 4 touchdowns again, but I think if he gets 100 rushing yards and Aaron Rodgers throws for over 300, I think the Packers will win. But the Lions defense has done a better job against tougher teams than many people have given them credit for. They put together a great formula against the Kansas City Chiefs and gave them all they could handle. And this is a team that has continued to climb up the charts of expectations for what people think that they're going to be able to do. I think if we're looking at a close game, I think the Packers are going to win it. If it's within a score, I'll give it 17-14 Packers. But if this starts to get out of hand and Green Bay's defense doesn't stand up, I'll take the Lions 27-20. Matthew Stafford throws for 3 touchdowns.
I like it, EJ. We have to abbreviate this segment. I apologize for that, but let's get to your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
I have no thumbs down other than the Browns losing another game. Now, my thumbs up for the week. I have a stat line that I think people need to hear here. All right. And that's it. NFL teams are 90-1 since 1991 when they win the time of possession, total yards, turnovers, and pick up 25 first downs and convert at least 10 or more third down attempts. Now, I know that that's a lot of information.
That is.
Okay. Almost every team that's ever done that has won. The only team to lose, the Dallas Cowboys versus New York Jets this week.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
I love it. EJ Russell joining us from Escanaba, Michigan. EJ, thanks for joining us tonight. We're cutting you a little short tonight due to technical issues, but we'll get you back on next week. We'll get these things figured out. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week here on The Game.
Always a pleasure to be here, and go Lions.
Absolutely, go Lions. We're going to take our final break. We're going to try to reestablish connection with Butch Davis for his portion of the roundtable. That's coming up next on The Game here on ESPN 1400.
Mo at M&C Water Systems has a solution for all your water needs. Want clean, fresh drinking water? M&C Water Systems proudly distributes natural, artesian water for all your bottled water needs. Cooler rental and bottled water delivery for your home and office are available. M&C Water Systems delivers to all the local islands, too. Need a water filter? M&C has them. Need a softener? Drinking water system? Want to find out about reverse osmosis? Call Mo at M&C Water Systems today at 906-647-7307, serving the Eastern Upper Peninsula for over 25 years.
You want more from a compact or utility tractor, and at Skinner's of Pickford, you'll find more. More of the newest Massey Ferguson tractors, offering more versatility, more durability, and more performance. Stop by today and find out how Massey Ferguson is expanding the possibilities of what a great tractor can be, and why a Massey Ferguson will be the last tractor you'll ever need. Come see the Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You wanted a small tractor with a mid-PTO for more versatility. Massey Ferguson responded by bringing back a versatile workhorse, the Massey Ferguson 1526 Compact Tractor, now available at Skinner's of Pickford. A tractor that can do more because it's made to handle more. As hardworking and no-nonsense as you are. See it today at Skinner's of Pickford, your tractor source in the north. You can catch podcasts of The Game at thegamesportshow.com. Now let's get back to it with Scott Nason here on ESPN 1400.
Welcome back to The Game on ESPN 1400 and online at thegamesportshow.com. The roundtable continues with Butch Davis, who unfortunately we lost there for a bit due to some technical bugs, but we got him back on. Butch, we got 10 minutes. Thanks for hanging with us, being patient, and rejoining us here on The Game.
Oh, sure.
Hey, 10 minutes left, Butch. I'm going to give you the floor as far as a topic. We got time for probably two before our thumbs up and thumbs down. So, Butch Davis for Butch On Sports, what's on your mind?
I don't know. It's a lot of things. We covered wrestling pretty doggone well during the first half of the show there, of the 7 o'clock hour there. It's kind of hard to gauge there. I looked at the National Football League this week, and you picked out some. You found some teams that really got hyped up, such as the Cleveland Browns and some other teams that are not doing very well, versus some teams that we thought nothing of, like the San Francisco 49ers, who's doing excellent there. And kind of want to spin on that. Plus the injuries that are going around.
Yeah, Butch, I'll be brief. We talked a little bit about it with EJ, but the 49ers, I'll tell you, that was a statement game. We've heard a lot about this team 4-0, and we really didn't see a test. And, well, they shut down the Rams something fierce with that defense. And it's a team that's growing in confidence in a very tough division. The Browns, they got some issues at 2-4, but I don't think they need to panic too much. They still got to play Cincinnati twice and Pittsburgh. And I got a kick out of that game last night, Butch, in Los Angeles. And boy, the Chargers moved to Los Angeles. I don't know if it's going to be overall that good. There had to have been 75% of Pittsburgh fans in there. It sounded like a home game for the Steelers, and they took it to the Chargers. And, you have two undefeated teams in New England and San Francisco. The Patriots' defense has been just outstanding. Then you have two winless teams, Miami, who was that close against Washington, but they didn't get that 2-point conversion, and Cincinnati, who really looks like a train wreck. So those are some of the things that time watching. Butch, any other thoughts on the NFL before I get to a topic I think you'll be very interested in?
I think right now the Cleveland Browns, I kind of disagree with everybody on that. I think the Cleveland Browns need to do one thing. Let's shut their big fat mouths, okay? There's a lot of that going on in the camp, and, and all the contestants who want to brag about the Browns, they got to shut their mouths, too. Allow this team that's very talented, especially on offense, to go ahead and gel and do their thing there. I think once that happens and they get down to business and, again, shut their mouths, okay, and stop commenting on every little thing that goes on Twitter or the newspaper or the television, radio, whatever it means necessary for that to happen, and play some football. That's all they really need to do. The Cincinnati Bengals, you did mention them. There is a train wreck, especially when they got rid of the coach. That's the only coach they've known for quite some time. And then they're bringing these newfangleds there with players right now who either think about retirement there. And you know who they are, boys and girls. But, again, the Cincinnati Bengals organization are trying to figure that out. San Francisco 49ers are just impactful right now there. Very dominant on defense, and that's what you got to have if you're going to play any type of football in the National Football League. You got to have a defense there. And that's the Detroit Lions thing. That's what saved them so far with the record they have. It's, some defense is showing up when they have to show up there. New England Patriots, what can you say about that particular team? It is team in full motion, offensively and defensively there, especially on defense. I didn't expect all that per se on defense, but they're really very dominant there on defense. A lot took part there, plus some injuries that did occur this particular yesterday. That I did see. I did see the injury that was sustained by the receiver for one of the teams. I had him down here a few minutes ago. Yes, he's there. There we go. Will Disley of the Seahawks, a new tight end that they got there. Achilles tendon injury. That's going to be something to look at. The Cowboys, Amari Cooper, we'll judge and see what that's coming on out there. That doesn't look too good either for the Cowboys there, who kind of struggled yesterday when they played there. So, need to say more. Some teams are going to pull it up a notch. They got 12 more weeks to prove themselves. That's including the San Francisco 49ers when it comes down to playing in the National Football League. There's a lot of weeks left. You may look good now, you'll look pitiful later, and then everybody will be wondering what happened there. And again, it'll be something that we kind of look at there and gauge throughout the season.
Butch, real quick, you got about 3 minutes before our thumbs up and thumbs down. Tough week for the NBA and their ties with China. All it took was a tweet by a general manager for Houston, and boy, everything has gone wrong for the NBA as, well, they are tied in financially to China, and you have the Hong Kong situation, and the NBA kind of sticking their foot in their mouths as far as I'm concerned. We don't have a whole lot of time. We'll address this more next week, but what are your thoughts on what was not a good week in NBA PR?
Actually, a big flip came from the commissioner, Silver, there, when he said, well, this is what we do in our country versus that didn't what China wanted to hear. And that's when the virus started very much so. A lot more busy there. If I was the NBA, I would have pulled the players out of China. That's what I would have done there, because there's no sense of putting people's lives at risk for someone else's big fat mouth. And China was very serious about the allegation there. And once that happened, the U.S. should have been not allowed to even go into China. If Silver wanted to go into China and talk business or whatever he felt, that would have been very much so all right with me, okay? If he wants to defend one of the owners or general managers for tweeting something that really, in a desperate time or a sensitive time in this country, and not only this country, but around the world, you just can't make comments and statements just to be making comments when you're in the light of everybody else's tunnel there. So a bad move for the NBA all around there. They're going to have to overtake their grounds on what they say and how they say it. The big portion is there, and I'll make this short and sweet. When China have more people than the United States checking out the NBA, you know where the money is there right now for the NBA. And they're going to be hurting a big time when it comes down to income.
Like everything, I always say, Butch, follow the money. That's usually where you find your answers. Let's get to our thumbs up and thumbs down for the week. I'll forego my thumbs down. Thumbs up to the EUP Dome in Marquette, Michigan, and the organizers that put on a very fun event. My oldest son, plays 8th grade football for the Soo Junior Devils, and a lot of youth teams were playing in the world's largest wooden dome yesterday. It was a fun event. We drove, went down and back. We ran into some snow and some sleet, but it was a great event. Great football was played in the dome. The kids had a blast, and so kudos for those that made that happen. Butch Davis, your thumbs up and thumbs down for the week, sir.
Nothing. I have absolutely nothing to say. I'm just going to be positive about the whole week here, and just give everybody their chance to move ahead or get behind whatever they want to do there. Nothing this week as far as thumbs up or thumbs down.
Butch Davis joining us on the game. Butch, thanks for sticking around. I know we had some technical bugs. We'll try to work those out here over the week, and we'll talk to you next Monday night right here on the game. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Okay.
All right, that's going to do it for our edition of the game. Don't forget the NOJHL showcase going on at Big Bear Arena. I'll be there all day tomorrow and Wednesday. Games start at 11 o'clock, 6 games each day. Tickets just $10 for the entire day, $150 a game. That's a good deal. You can catch those games on Hockey TV. You can catch a Lions football over on our sister station, Oldies 93, starting here in about 20 minutes. And want to thank Butch Davis for joining us, EJ Russell, and Dave McCaig, the 4 horsemen of the game, as well as our special guest, Eagles general manager Bruno Bragagnolo, along with the commissioner of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League, Mr. Robert Mazzuca. That's going to do it for this edition of the game. Again, if you want to hear the podcast of this show, you can go to thegamesportshow.com or thegamesportshow.podbean.com. We will talk to you next Monday night right here on ESPN 1400.
Thanks for listening to The Game here on ESPN 1400 WKNW, Sault Ste. Marie's sports leader. Check us out next Monday at 6 for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You can hear the podcast of the show and other broadcasts at thegamesportshow.com.